What's up, y'all? So I went ahead and changed, and I'm doing another video like I promised. I'm kind of hungry, so I have this gigantic ass spoon of peanut butter that I will be eating off of during the course of making this video because I am super hungry and I love peanut butter. So yeah, I said I wanted to do a video about my piercings and what they mean to me and, like, I don't know, their importance. So to start it off, I have 10 piercings. I have 3 in each ear. I have an eyebrow ring, I have a septum piercing, I have a nose ring or a nostril ring, and I have a tongue piercing. Give me a sec. So yeah, I have a retainer in there because job stuff, and I didn't want to, go to an interview with, my tongue piercing, and you can see it when I'm talking and all that stuff. So I think with the retainer, you don't really see it all that well because it's clear. I have an interesting history with piercings because my mom is ridiculously prudish. She's like a gigantic prude, and she's a bit controlling. She's pretty controlling and very sheltering. And so there are a lot of things growing up that I was never exposed to, and I just had to kind of learn by myself. I don't know, it made life more difficult that I was so sheltered growing up. So, god damn it, the loud ass saw sounds. So, my mom is super duper prudish and she's super sheltering and all that stuff, but she's pretty lax about piercings, which is really interesting. Growing up, she had keloid skin. What keloid is it's pretty much it's an immune response that's like way over the fucking top. So when you have any kind of damage to your epidermis, when you have keloid skin, your immune system way over fucking reacts and sends a whole lot of collagen cells, like scar tissue, to repair the cut or the abrasion or whatever. And so that results in having, extra skin in that area. And so a lot of people that have keloid skin, when they have an ear piercing, they have like that little bump, the little bump behind your earring. That's keloid skin. That's keloid. And so my mom had keloid skin growing up, and it made it really hard for her to get the piercing that she wanted to get. As a kid, she always wanted to have a nose piercing, and she could just never do it because the keloid would definitely form, and you can get it removed by the doctor, but that's not guaranteeing that it won't come back. So she just avoided piercings really outside of her ears, which, is unfortunate. But she kind of lives vicariously through me and my piercing experience. So a lot of people get piercings when they're a baby, when they're like born. And so my first piercing, of course, I had when I was like 2. My second piercing, I think me and my mom were at like field day in elementary school, and so she let me go to Claire's to get my second hole, and I was so fucking excited. Like, I thought that was so cool. Also, never ever get a gun piercing. I know it's less scary than, them poking a needle into your ear, but gun piercings are not good. They cause a lot of trauma and they don't heal right. So just avoid gun piercings. Don't go to Claire's or Walmart or whatever to get a piercing done. Go to a professional. Go to a professional. Then when I was 14, my mom let me get my cartilage pierced, and I thought that was dope as fuck. I was bragging about it for weeks. What else? When I turned 18, I got a labret. I had to take that out because it was wearing at my gums, like my gums were receding, and it was very uncomfortable, so I just went ahead and took it out. Probably that same year? No, the next year. I might have been 19. Yeah, I was 19. I got my nose and my tongue pierced. Then I got my eyebrow pierced when I was 22. And then my mom got really upset because I had this bump that kept forming. I had like a cyst that kept forming. And she asked me to take it out, so I went ahead and took it out, and I was intending to put it back in, but it closed up on me, so. In 2015, I think, when I was 25, I got my eyebrow and septum pierced. So yeah, that's my history of piercings. Well, professional piercings. I'll get more into that later. As far as pain goes, I would say anything in your cartilage is it's going to be more painful than just regular skin. So this, like, the septum piercing isn't in your cartilage, but there's a lot of nerve endings here, and like when you pinch really hard on your septum, it makes you cry, and like, you know, it's just more painful than a lot of other piercings are. But initially it's painful, and then it dwindles off like over the course of like 2 minutes. It's super easy. My nose piercing was pretty painful, and that made me cry because my nostril is really thick, and so when he stuck the needle in, he like didn't get it all the way through and had to stick it in more. Cartilage in my ear, that was like pretty much on the same level as my nose. It didn't make me cry because, I don't know, it's just things in your nose, because your nose is weirdly sensitive. It just makes me cry personally. What else? Then my eyebrow wasn't that bad. Lobes are never that bad. Tongue piercing was probably like the least painful of all my piercings. I'll just say, like, my tongue like has like no feeling or something. I don't know. I mean, it did hurt, it did swell up and all that stuff, but my tongue piercing was definitely the least painful of all my piercings. So now to my misadventures in self-piercing. My first thought, the first thing I want to get out here about self-piercing and, you know, doing it properly is you never fucking do it. Just don't do it. It's a terrible idea. You could end up really fucking up not only your face, not only your body, but your entire life. You could kill yourself doing self-piercing. Just don't do it. When I was 14. When I was 14, I pierced my belly button. And I got away with it for a good amount of time, like nearly 4 months, almost 5 months maybe. And my mom saw it and she made me take it out. Then when I was 16, I pierced my tongue. And that was probably the worst idea I've had so far as self-piercing goes. And what happened was I pierced it way too fucking far back, and the piercing that I used was, you know, a regular tongue piercing. When you get your tongue pierced, they give you a piercing that is longer than, you know, regular tongue piercings, because your tongue obviously swells up because, you know, it's being punctured, and so it definitely swells up. And, you know, I did not take that into consideration because I'm fucking stupid. I'm not a professional, and yeah, I went ahead and pierced my tongue way too far back and used the wrong piercing to put in. I had that tongue piercing in for, I don't know, maybe 2-3 months. I remember one day I was eating at a burrito and I felt this thunk at the bottom of my tongue, and I was like, what was that? It was really weird because after that my tongue felt rather pleasant because I was experiencing a lot of swelling. But after that feeling, after that thunk feeling, there was a lot less pressure on my tongue, and I was like, that's probably good. Doesn't hurt as much anymore. Cool. Ends up that the fucking ball at the bottom of the tongue ring had gone up into my tongue. But it's been 3 months, and we're at breakfast, and I'm talking to my brother. My mom looks at me and she's like, what is that in your mouth? I was like, oh, fuck me. Oh, really? Of all times now, and we had company over. Oh God, it was embarrassing. But yeah, she's like, what is that in your mouth? And I was like, oh, I'm eating food. There's food in my mouth. And she's like, nope, bitch, you're not gonna get me with that shit. So yeah, she saw that I had a tongue ring and she freaked out, understandably. And she told me to take it out, and I was like, you see, the thing about that is, I can't take it out. And she's like, why? And I was like, well, the ring kind of is stuck inside of my tongue. She's like, okay, well, we're going to urgent care like right now. So she took me to the urgent care center, and they took syringes and you know, injected some numbing shit into my tongue, and the doctor like had to like brace himself, where he's like, he had to like put his hand on my face and like pry that shit out of my tongue. It was an unpleasant experience, and my mom was very upset with me, and so I don't know. It could have been worse. It could have been a lot worse. I could have gotten an infection and just fucking died. Like, it could have gone so much worse than it did, and I'm really lucky that a lot of my misadventures have ended in minimal damage. And I still have like kind of a crack on my tongue from where I pierced it, but outside of that, I don't have any problems with it. I've also pierced my ears, like with safety pins and stuff, a fair amount of times. I would say there's probably one right here, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 4 times I've pierced my own ears. And one time I was in class and someone was like, "Is that a safety pin in your ear?" And I was like, "Oh yeah. You wanna see me pierce it?" And they're like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it. I'll fucking do it, because I'm badass like that. I'm so fucking hardcore. I would pierce my ears in school with a teacher right there." And so I went ahead and did it. And I don't know, I was a weird attention-seeking person back then. I liked making people like clutch their pearls and feel like, whoa, that's crazy. I was just really into that kind of shit. And now I'm not. I really don't care like about wowing people, but I don't know, I like to keep myself interesting to me. And the best way to gauge whether you're interesting or not is to look at what other people think about you. And people tend to think I'm interesting. I tend not to think I'm interesting. And so I have to keep, you know, to keep myself into myself, I have to keep doing different stuff. And yeah, that was one of my phases of doing things, was modifying myself, doing it to myself. So my advice for self-piercing is, don't do it, never do it. It's just a terrible fucking idea. But piercings for me have always been, I don't know, a source of comfort, because there's so many things about myself that I just despise, and I don't know, the ability to modify my own being, I don't know, it provides this strange comfort for me. It's good shit. It's good shit. It makes me feel good. So yeah, that's piercings. And you know, I'm a person that's really into tattoos as well, but I'm also one of those people that can't for the life of them decide on a thing that they would want on their body for the rest of their lives. The day that they come out with tattoos, like temporary tattoos that last, you know, 5 to 10 years, I am so down for that shit. But, or maybe even 3. I wouldn't mind paying a whole lot of money for 3 years. The day that comes out, I'll be down for it, because there are ideas that I have that I would like to, I don't know, get into, but I don't know, I don't like permanence, I don't like commitment. Yeah. Talk to you guys later. Damn, this is some good ass peanut butter. Peace.